Hello and welcome at our conference, Home Like Hospital Births. And would you please introduce yourself? Hello, thank you for invitation to our conference. My name is Ludmila Nováčková. I work in Maternity clinic in Příbram. I'm the head nurse, head midwife, and I work there since 2011. This is my colleague. Hello, my colleague is Alena Šindelářová, and I work as a head midwife in delivery suite. I do this work since 2002. Can I please ask you about the education of midwives? Do midwives need any special education in your hospital? Those midwives who would work absolutely independent or autonomously? Well, independent or autonomous, what do you mean about that? You mean independent work in delivery wards? Yes. Today, there is no other possibility than to study bachelor education, so that means university or even master is available. So, the midwives who are, let's say, a little bit older or born earlier, we had 2 years education, and it was additional education to secondary education, but today minimum bachelor, 3 years bachelor education, and it's finished by the state exam. Your hospital takes care of every birth, that means high risk and low risk, but do you also support or specially support natural births, healthy natural births? Yes. We do focus on support of natural births. We like it. We are very positive about that. Our chief doctor too, the whole collective, all the midwives do so. It is important that the client must know the environment, must get familiar with that. It would be ideal to develop trust between the mother and the midwives, especially the mother. The birthing mother must trust to the staff that they really mean what they say, and they try to do the best for the birthing mother. So important is the approach of the staff, of the midwives. I'm convinced that we really try to be open, to be communicative, and to be open to actually almost all the wish or what we can do, what is possible, I would say. So we like to meet their wishes and needs. We can add that we minimalize medicalization. We try to not to medicate births, and we support aromatherapy and some herbal therapy, musicotherapy. Every mother has the possibility to bring her own music. Can I ask more? The midwives who support natural births, or is it the whole team? The midwives who support natural team, do they have any special education? Because not in all schools natural birth is taught properly. They don't devote enough time to this type of information. Yes, we take part in professional seminars, and also about 9 months ago, all our midwives went through certification of aromatherapy, herbal therapy. Is it possible in your maternity hospital that the midwife is independent care provider, I mean, when the woman comes to your hospital, is she in hands of a midwife only, or does the doctor intervene, or is the doctor present? Well, 50%, I would say, because the doctor has to see the patient at admission, and then he has to be present at the end of birth. That means when placenta is born, and he has to check the birth canal and such. But if the doctor is not present, the midwife must all that on her own. If the mother is physiologic, if she is healthy, then the midwife can care for her during the birth on her own. And is it a rule? Is it an internal rule of your hospital that the doctor has to be there? Or is it a law, national law? I don't know. A midwife is an internationally recognized expert for healthy birth. So why the doctor has to be there? If the midwife would say, yes, this mother is healthy, the birth is healthy, so why does she need to call for a doctor? If the woman is really low-risk woman, why can't the midwife take care for her on her own? Maybe there is no rule or no regulation on this type, I don't know. Well, actually, we don't have any internal rule. We follow the recommended steps by Czech Gynecologic Society. It's the Doctors' Society, so they have standards, they have recommended steps, and one of them is that we have to call the doctor when the woman comes to the hospital. The doctor has to make a note in documentation. The truth is that if the pregnancy is totally physiologic, totally healthy, the midwife would be able to do the admission and she would be able to say whether this is normal or some complications arise. Yeah, I must say that we did not try to make the midwives autonomous, really. It's just, we are used to this way of care, and of course, there might be a situation that the doctor would be busy, or he might be at operating theater, or he might be busy with other patient. He might be at another ward. So then the midwife has to do everything on her own. It might be a very quick birth, or there is nobody else at hand, so she has to care for the woman. She has to assess the situation, and she has to make decisions what to do next. We don't meet these situations too often, but it can happen. But we don't have any rules in this respect. Yes. No rules about independent midwifery rules. Well, the doctor may be present sometimes at the end of birth, and the doctor may ask only if something is going wrong or everything is okay, just to ask. Do you think that the care you provide is different from maternity hospitals in your region? The feedback about your maternity clinic is very positive, so that's why we addressed you. So what are the good points? What are the good moments in your care, in the care you offer, that the women like to come to your hospital? Well, I think it is our behavior, it is our communication with the woman. Our midwives have time to devote to the mother, and the doctor has time to devote to the mother. It's It's the attitude of midwives, and it's our effort to inform the women, to communicate with the women, and if there might be some risk that the midwife would see, and then we try to search for options. We also try to help with natural births, VBAC births. And sometimes women come who had 2 C-sections in the past, and I think it's not normal too. And we also try to turn the breech babies with external touches, and then the risk of C-section is lower. And we really try to support natural birth, and we try to support the atmosphere of natural birth. I think natural birth is better than the alternative birth. The expressions are important, so we should not use the bad expressions. No, not alternative, but natural birth. And what we offer to them, like the herbal therapy and aromatherapy, I think all that can make the environment and the atmosphere better. And if the women would ask for some medicaments, of course we can give it to them too. We are a flexible team. Do you have any information hours, any meeting hours for women who really need more talking about the birth, who need more information? Do you have any information, for instance, on a website or anywhere? Where do the women get information? Well, at the moment, we offer mail communication. In the past, we had group meetings every Monday. It was before the COVID time, and the parents could come and to go around. There were guided tours around delivery suite, and they got information how the procedures are done and what they can expect, and they could give questions. Now we started with prenatal classes again, and they can get information at the prenatal classes. But very often we really answer the mails, or the people would call us, and the phone numbers are available on the website. As to individual consultation, if we find time for that, we also would offer to them. And do you have any standards for some parts of your care that you really would recommend to the others? For natural birth, I mean. So, do you have anything in written or which would help to newcomers, to new midwives, newcoming midwives? Do you have anything, any guidance? Well, I must admit that we do not have any guiding standards for new midwives. Usually, the new midwives would learn from the older ones, but it's a good idea. I think we should write them. Well, I think that these standards could be shared, and the other maternity clinics can learn from you. Well, it sounds all nice, so I would ask more. Do you offer family birthing rooms to parents? Let's say a woman would come and would bring a partner with her, or 2 partners with her, or sometimes there are women who have got older child and they would like to bring the child along. Is it possible in your maternity clinic? Do you have a room for this family? And if the woman would like to stay in your hospital with your husband and with the child, or with the other partner, give birth and stay there and then leave home? Well, we have not had children at birth yet. They can take some partner, yes, that's true. And yeah, I remember one case, yes, before COVID, that there was a woman coming for birth. She was really in active birth, and they have not got anybody to babysitting, and the child was there. She was with the mother. But it's not normal. We don't offer it as a regular service. And also the children are not accommodated, or they don't stay with the parents in postnatal birth, birthing ward, in postnatal ward. But it happens to us that the woman would leave after 2 or 3 hours after the birth. And it also happens that the woman would give birth in the morning hours and would leave the hospital in the afternoon. But you would not say that this is a family room. Well, no, probably. No. Children would not stay here during the birth. Well, in the postnatal ward, the parents were together also with the older child, not very often. It's not really normal standard situation. But if they would really wish so, we would let them stay there together. Well, I ask because the project of family birthing rooms should offer a special place for women who would opt for home births, because there is nothing like family room available in the hospital. So the family rooms should offer a substitute place for these home birthing mothers. So if the obstetric clinic would offer a room for a family, these women would come and give birth in a hospital. And in case there would be some complication, we would not need to think about how to transport the woman to the hospital, and we would use the time we lose the time if there is a need of transfer from home to a hospital. So this is why I'm asking whether you would not think for future about widening your offer or offering more services. Well, we have not been thinking about that by now, and maybe in future, I don't know. In 2017, our delivery suite has been reconstructed, so I think it exists somewhere in Czech Republic, I don't know. But as we have reconstructed our delivery suite, we don't think about reconstructing it in short time to come. It was not that cheap to reconstruct the delivery suite, so I don't think that we would plan the family birthing rooms. But the presence of the family members may be possible if the trend will be in this direction, and if we would see that the mothers would really be happy to come to the hospital, then we would include this service in our work. Of course, it is not good if there is a complicated home birth and the mother would come, and then we are in the middle of the difficult situation. Do you cooperate with community midwives, and in what way? The community midwives in our country are kind of Cinderellas, and if the state would perceive them as a part of the healthcare system. It could help to hospitals and to mothers, and everybody could be happy. So a cooperation between community midwives and hospitals would be really beneficial. So under what conditions would you cooperate with the community midwives? Well, I would say that we really need to develop the cooperation, because the communication between us is not really smooth, and we don't communicate too often. Well, please. You said you were speaking also about doulas. So if you say that you think about making contracts with doulas, please. I would like to stick to midwives, community midwives. Community midwife is a university-educated person, and you said that you know that a midwife is university educated. Well, community midwives are coming from time to time with the mother, but they can't work independent. They can't be autonomous in our hospital, and probably it's because of law. If they would like to take care of women independently, they would have to have a contract with the hospital, and it's not working yet. And we were not thinking about that. I'm sorry, we have not been thinking about that. I say that that we need to start a communication with community midwives, and we have to put heads together and think together, have brainstorming how to do that, how to develop that cooperation. The midwife who would be working autonomous here in this hospital, she would also be responsible for the work she would do and for the result. And she should have the contract. So in our hospital, the community midwives would come from time to time, but then they would be only observers or partners, but not active working midwives. Well, we were speaking about the family birthing rooms, so would you have any suggestions how to replace the home birth with a ethically clean attitude, or would you have a solution, ethical solution for the home births in Czech Republic, which are not supported by the government, which are not covered by the health insurance office, and the midwives do not have any support, the home birth midwives? So do you have any suggestions? Well, at the moment, I really do not know how to solve this situation. It's a lot about communication and about the attitude to women. Well, you were speaking about a lot of interesting things, and I would like to ask you, is there anything that you would like to improve in organization of your work, in your attitude, or in cooperation with community midwives? Yes, this is something I have been speaking a minute ago, that we would plan to meet community midwives more often. It's about agreements, and it's about setting kind of directives or rules for their active participation in our birth. So our plans would be to improve the communication between us and the community midwives. How the community midwives would know that you plan the meeting or so? Well, we have to contact them. We have to plan it. well, they can address us too, but yeah, we are not against, and our chief doctor is not against too. So, well, maybe some seminars, and well, the midwives are here and there and everywhere. The community midwives are here and there and everywhere. And it would not be efficient if one would come on Monday and the other one on Tuesday, the other one on Wednesday. It would be good to make some seminar, isn't it? Yes. And is there anything that you are very proud of and you would recommend it to the others? Well, the communication. And we try to please the mothers who are interested in natural birth. And we also, if a new midwife comes, we also like to educate her in that aromatherapy and the alternative therapies. But communication is the most important, we would say. And is there anything you would like to tell the international audience? That the work of midwife and obstetrics in general is a wonderful work, and that we love this job, and we would love to contribute to support of natural births, and we would love to make the mothers really happy. Sometimes we have a feedback, and the mothers would write to us that they were happy, and this makes us happy, and so we still would like to support natural birth. And maybe a last question, is there any challenge regarding the parents? Sometimes the parents may not be willing to listen, or they want to force their way. Yes, we meet that sometimes, and it's difficult. These parents usually are aggressive since the very beginning. They write a very detailed birth wish, and they write in that birth wish what we must do and what we are not allowed to do, and we have no space for providing them with our care. And then we try to communicate about that, and mostly we succeed. It's sometimes difficult to explain why we have this or that attitude. Usually they send us their birth wish in advance, and they do not deliver them in person. But then, when they come in person, again, the communication is important. We try to explain everything, and we try to tell them what they can probably expect, what we can do for them and such. But on the other hand, that they have to respect some steps that we do, that we have to protect the health of the woman and the health of the baby, and that some of the things or the steps we do are really important and necessary. And why do you think some parents are so stubborn? Do you think it's the overall mood in society? We have the right, you are obliged? Or is it the question of difference between generations? Yes, I think it is the difference in generations, and I think that the parents also think that they have only rights, and we are only obliged to do what they want. And the parents can search for for information in the internet, and if they search a special type of information and then they think they have right of everything, I think there are many factors which influence the behavior of parents. And usually they are afraid that they would not be able to have their wish fulfilled, and they just give us orders, and yeah. So, okay, thank you very much.